Marfoogle News going live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam A.K. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We're going to go over some of the craziest developments over the weekend. Obviously, a lot of folks have been talking about SNAP. As of November 1st, people have not gotten their food stamps, and a lot of folks thought that this was going to mean riots, and it still potentially could. Hopefully not. Again, we'll talk about that here in a second, and there was another kind of update on that, so we'll give you that. But first, another huge update, and it's not something that should surprise any of the Foogle fam. We've been watching this for a very long time. We've all predicted this would happen. The Trump administration is planning a new mission in Mexico against the cartels and against this group of narco-terrorists. Current and former U.S. officials say. It said that the Trump administration has begun detailed planning for a new mission to send U.S. troops and intelligence officers into Mexico to target the cartels, according to two U.S. officials and former senior U.S. officials familiar with the effort. The early stages of training for the potential mission, which would include ground operations inside of Mexico, has already begun. The two current U.S. officials said, but a deployment to Mexico is not imminent, the two U.S. officials said. Discussions about the scope of the mission are ongoing, and a final decision has not been made, the two current U.S. officials said. So this is a massive, massive deal. So first of all, we've been watching over the last 5 years about how, obviously some weird things have happened. We've locked down our border as if we were about to get invaded. We've created a system called the Golden Dome that they're about to build. And they, of course, are going into potentially Venezuela right now. There is obviously a 180 done every week on every war in the world at this point, and people are very confused. But this is something that doesn't really confuse me. I think that something has been going down in Mexico as far as all of the folks that were coming through the Darien Gap, the mysterious bridge that was made, how the media put it is a tank-wide column being built in the middle of the jungle out of nowhere, millions of dollars to build a bridge. To me, that says that there is something going on all the way up into Mexico onto our border, that obviously something was being planned. And this sounds crazy, and this is throwing out a big one, a potential invasion. I know that people are just so absolutely, far from accepting that as a reality because we're in America, the protected, the completely isolated America with oceans on both sides. But I think that there is something far, far worse that they are actually wondering about right now. As far as they going down and doing this narco-terror mission, all of this under the narco-terror reason has basically left Congress out of the loop. Speaking of which, the Congress have basically been clamped down on. There's very little that they can do to find out certain things now. They have kicked the media out of the Pentagon. The Pentagon is now very, very quiet, where it used to have reporters walking all over willy-nilly. Now there's essentially one ONN reporter, and he's probably sitting in the lunchroom going, hey, can anybody throw me a bone here? So this is very, very odd, and this mission is just one more thing adding to the fire. So before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to go check out EMP Shield. This is protection against an electromagnetic pulse attack from any of our adversaries, which include, of course, China, Russia, North Korea, Venezuela, even with backpack devices that could go off. Again, this is not only a threat to our country, it's one of our vulnerabilities to our grid, which is archaic and old. This also will protect you against a Carrington-level event from the sun from, again, a solar event. So go over to marfuglenews.com/EMP. Make sure to use the code MARF. They have devices for pretty much everything that you want to protect, from cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators, gas, and solar, in the case of the Energy and the Bug Out XP. And they have versions now for your modems and even your Starlink. So go check them out. Most of them are plug and play. To be wired into your car, you can do this. It's 3 wires, red to red on your battery, black to black on your battery, green to ground, and you're done. It takes less than 10 minutes. You don't need a mechanic. Go to marfuglenews.com/EMP and make sure to use the code MARF. I'm sure you would rather be able to get home to your family to bug in or get out to bug out rather than being stuck where you are. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Fugle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, on top of this, there is an odd threat of military action in Nigeria. So, do you want to go over
Yeah,
that and what the hell's going on with
this
this?
kind of came out of nowhere. So Nigerians described a mixture of confusion and fear on Sunday as people across the country tried to decipher President Donald Trump's threat to stop all aid to Africa's most populous country and go in guns ablazing after accusing Nigeria's government of allowing the killing of Christians. So, kind of a big statement there. So, the group chats and social media across West African nation blew up in the wake of his comments Sunday, with many of them being baffled by his ire. Basically, he said, and this is a quote: I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible actions. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs that attacked our cherished Christians. So yeah, I could see how that would rattle the folks in Nigeria if they hear the U.S. president making a statement like that. So now that brings the question as, are we going to go there and expand our war on terrorism, as they call it, and is this another battleground that Trump is going to go into?
And again, is this something that Nigeria is actually tied in with other things that we don't know about? Again, I think that there's another story underneath every one of the forward-facing stories that we're reading right now. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think that there is something far, far worse than what they're even saying that they are actually worried about? Let me know in the comments. And then delays and smaller payments. So now essentially they're saying that they're going to work it out with the states. The states are supposed to work out what percentage and what kind of benefits everybody should get. And they're going to try to send a percentage of this out to everybody. Now this hits close to home. I have family members that are on SNAP. And this is something that for a lot of you, you're worried about this month, and for good reason. They essentially say that they're going to leave it up to the states, but the bureaucratic system is obviously broken, and it's going to take a while for them to figure that out. And even when they do figure that out, it sounds like it's going to be a smaller payment than what you're used to, especially on the food side, right? So this is something that is alarming a lot of folks, because if this goes south, we're talking about a civil conflict in the country when people start snapping. No pun intended. So we're going to talk about this and much, much more on our regular show over on Marfoogle TV. If you want to join us, make sure to go and follow us over on Marfoogle TV, our other sister channel, or you can stay here in the chat and you'll be ported over. Or if you're watching the replay, make sure to click here. We'll see you in just a few minutes over on that show. It will be live right after this. We'll see you in just a minute. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.